You take your $100 million and you hold it for a year in fiat currency, you're going to have 1% or 0.5% of it left. You're going to lose 99% of your money in 100 years.
Welcome to Dream Richer. The market has seen extreme fear over the past couple of weeks, with Terra Luna crashing unexpectedly, the stock market plummeting down, and the Fed's claiming to raise interest hikes even further. This has left many investors questioning their asset allocations and what they should do with their investments. Today, the billionaire playboy Michael Saylor discusses with Raoul the effect coming inflation will have on the market. In his words, people who choose to stay away from Bitcoin will see 99% of their wealth being taken by inflation. In fact, the United Nations recently declared that a crippling global food shortage is coming. Why? Well, the UN argues that the shock of the war in Ukraine, climate change, and rising inflation are just some of the factors to blame. According to the UN figures, the number of severely food insecure people has doubled in the past 2 years, from 135 million pre-pandemic to 276 million as of today. Now, more than 500,000 people are experiencing famine conditions, which is an increase of more than 500% since 2016. To much surprise, this food shortage won't be limited to just the third world countries, but also hit the United States and many other first-tier nations. By the end of the video, Michael Saylor and Raoul unravel the coming future and how important it is to be invested in Bitcoin. If you find the video helpful, then don't forget to subscribe. Let's get right into it.
The secret to making money in oil is a cartel. John D. Rockefeller understood it, a cartel. Anything that humans can produce with their brains and with capital is going to get overproduced. And that's the problem with using a commodity as a money, because ultimately, if gold is successful, then intelligent people are going to produce more gold, and you're going to double, triple, quadruple the supply of it.
Anything with a supernormal return gets arbitraged away. So those returns are only available for a period of time. Everybody gets into the game. The margins collapse. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, that's capitalism.
You take your $100 million and you hold it for a year in fiat currency, you're going to have 1% or 0.5% of it left. You're going to lose 99% of your money in 100 years. I know that to be the case. I have a house in Florida, a nice house in Florida. It would cost you $15 million to buy that house, $20 million today. I have the sale deed for that house in 1930. You know what the number is on it? $100,000. $100,000 in 1930. Count the number of years between 1930 and the year 2020 and figure out what the depreciation rate was on fiat currency in the US dollar. You're going to lose 99% of your money if you put it in cash. Okay, this is the thing that people don't say. You're going to lose, for sure, 85% of your money if you put it in gold. You're assuming that nobody invents a better chemistry for gold. We don't find gold anywhere else. Nobody invests any more money in gold mining. Nobody gets any smarter, and the gold price doesn't go up too much. And if all those things are true and people still use gold, you're going to lose 85% of your money. But if human ingenuity kicks in, gold's a commodity, you're going to lose 90% of your money in gold.
More than a fifth of households in Great Britain say they are struggling to make ends meet as the price of the weekly grocery shop rises 7%. The highest level of inflation in 13 years. 9 in 10 people say they are worried about the rising price of groceries, according to market research. Plus, there are ever-growing concerns about energy bills as the cost of living crisis hits many families hard. In fact, Shane Elliott, the chief administrator at ANZ Bank of Australia, recently went as far as to say that inflation crisis is about to surprise many Australians. In his words, none of us will have lived through a period like what's coming. These concerns have triggered all banks around the world, not only limited to the Feds in the United States. For example, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand just lifted interest rates to 2% in 5th consecutive hike. Do you think Bitcoin is solution to this coming crisis?
If you cross the Atlantic in a vessel made of fiat currency, it's like stitching together a bunch of inflatable rafts. By the way, you're crossing the Atlantic in an inflatable boat with a leak in it. Or You're crossing the Atlantic in a wooden ship. It's sort of good, but it's rotting. It's a wooden ship. It's better than inflatable. It doesn't have a leak in it, but it's wood and it's going to decay. It's decaying 2-3% a year. You're crossing the Atlantic in Bitcoin. It's a steel hull freighter. The thing about steel, like I say to the guys, I say, well, why do I want a steel boat? They go, because steel is indestructible and the welds are harder than the original steel. If you put a hole in steel and you weld it, the weld is stronger than the original material. The gold standard, good idea in the 19th century. The best idea you could have in the 19th century. But I mean, just like wooden ships, pretty good idea to have wooden ships if you're the British Empire, if that's the best you can have. Now, along comes Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. When I say it's harder than gold, I mean it's not just 10 times harder because it goes 100 years without losing any of its value. I say it's harder because it's an organic nest of cybernetic hornets feeding off of encrypted energy. It's a living thing. This is not a speculation, nor is it a hedge. This is a deliberate corporate strategy to adopt the Bitcoin standard. That's what we're doing, right? And I think that lots of people want to minimize what's going on here, or they're afraid. They're in fear to actually come out and say what they believe.
Mike, they don't understand yet. People are, it's like, as you know, you suddenly get to that point where it's like, oh Christ, I get it now. You kind of think you get it for a while, then you question yourself, then you sort of get it, then you realize you know nothing, and then you come to the epiphany, is not knowing anything about it apart from one core set of things, that this is superior to anything else around it, and it could be an entire ecosystem, a whole structure. That's all you need to know. After that, it's like, okay, I got hard money with upside.
And so now we're sitting here waiting to see how long it's going to take for all the other rational actors in the world to come to the same conclusion.
It's clear from Michael Saylor's discussion with Raoul that inflation is like a pest that will eat away at your wealth. The billionaire investor has argued many times that even though you may be afraid of Bitcoin as an asset due to its volatility, however, choosing to do nothing will be more costly in the long run. This has become more clear with the growing concerns of inflation, which have manifested in the form of food shortage and global famine. The Economist magazine cover also predicted what the future will bring, even though Bitcoin may be vouched as an inflation-resistant asset. However, investors argue that investing in Bitcoin is not the only solution. This is because many people have looked to gold as an alternative currency, particularly in countries where the native currency is losing value. Other common anti-inflation assets include commodities, various real estate investments, and tips. Do you agree with Michael Saylor's opinion? To learn more about the latest crypto news, watch these videos here.